Hi everyone. My name is Liana. I'm reading two pieces that I've written, and they're both centered around family and also about my eating disorder. So it's something that I've had on my heart and my mind and my soul for such a long time that I decided that it's just time. It's time to release it. It's time to let it go. It's time to have other people know my story in case it can help someone else out there. So here we go. They're both untitled. So this is the first piece. Así es que tú vas a salir con tus tetas topa afuera. My dad asked my mom aggressively, with a look of disgust in his eyes. Yo no tengo mis tetas topa afuera, my mom responded, but her response was riddled with self-doubt. Excuse me. Ponte otra camisa. Tú no vas a salir conmigo así. His word was final. My mom went into their room and began rummaging through her drawers to look for a shirt that would be approved. I looked at the shirt she was wearing before she went away to change and couldn't understand when my dad saw that her boobs were all out. It was a regular blouse, but she just had a tiny bit of cleavage showing, still very tasteful. I was around 8, and something about this exchange between my parents left me feeling angry and uncomfortable and revengeful. Why did my mom have to listen to what my dad said? Why couldn't she wear whatever the hell she wanted? What was so shameful about tetas? Should I be ashamed of my body? She changed into a shirt that had a higher neckline, no cleavage, no skin showing at all. Vámonos, he said when she came out of their room, eyeing her up and down, the look of disgust still evident on his face. He walked toward the door with his little lean walk full of swagger and confidence. My mom followed suit, her walk dripped of yearning for acceptance and insecurity. I remember looking at this dichotomy as a child and wondering if that was what I had to look forward to. A life of wanting, of never being accepted, of having to mold myself to fit everyone else's opinion of what I should look like. My mom was the first adult example that I had that bodies shouldn't be exposed or celebrated, but covered and regarded with shame. She took her cues from my dad, a man who never had anything positive to say about us, his family, but instead always looked at us as if we were disgusting pests he had to put up with. I didn't understand why my existence, my mother's existence, was such a bother to him. I still don't. My parents' childhood and the culture they grew up in is not the same as mine. They grew up in the Dominican Republic in the 1950s where Trujillo ruled and everybody was afraid, especially women, and everyone was afraid, and women especially had to be mindful of their bodies and appearances so as not to incite any unwanted attention which could have resulted in their rape or murder. My parents are of the mindset of you're either a mujer de familia, a law-abiding citizen who fits neatly into their gender roles society has inflicted on us, wearing pink frou-frou dresses with 6-inch heels, living only to get married and to breed, your intelligence going no further than knowing the words, yes, dear, and how can I serve you, dear? Or you were a callejera, a sucia, who was a prostitute, seeking attention from men as a profession, having no dignity or shame. This mentality impacted me harshly. I grew up as a late 80s baby, my childhood being in the 90s with the girl power movement, having the Spice Girls tell me that I can be anything I wanted to, dress how I wanted to, and still be a valid human being. I grew up with Madonna telling me to express myself, flaunting her sexuality and body every chance she had and being accepted. But in my house, bodies were shameful, and outside of my house, I was being constantly reminded that my body was wrong, a hairy accident that needed to be criticized by both children and adults alike. This is my second piece. Um, Again, untitled. I don't know what it's called. I had never purged before, but the voice inside me that sounded remarkably like my mother's kept insisting to try it. Do you want to be a gorda forever? Mira ni que panzúa tú eres. The words coiled around my brain like a serpent, getting ready to squeeze the life out of its prey. It seduced me daily with images of bones sticking out, of my bones sticking out, of popularity and of acceptance. The pro-eating disorder forum I frequented daily was a well of knowledge that I dived into each day, immersing myself for hours, reading all of the users' tricks and tips, food knowledge about which foods work best for tricking your body into feeling full on the fewest calories possible, and which ones were to be avoided completely. Although I had reduced my daily calorie intake to less than 500, I still felt I wasn't getting the results I wanted. I was yearning to look like the models in the magazines I devoured, the ones everyone called beautiful, the ones no one ever made to feel strange or different because of their bodies or appearances. I wanted to be a waif, un esqueleto. I wanted to disappear. Ipecac syrup helps make you vomit when you're too weak to do it yourself, someone posted. I wasn't sure if the weak they referred to was of will or physicality, but either way, my interest was piqued. To my 16-year-old mind, this information was worth its weight in gold. I had always been scared of making myself vomit. Something about the whole ordeal, the sticking my finger down my throat, the gagging, the actual vomit, felt like I was inciting death. but if I can use a substance to help me out, well, that was okay. I wasn't calling on death so much as waving to it from behind the shield. I felt like I was entering a seedy underbelly of some counterculture, and I was reveling in all of this illegal information I was obtaining, doing nothing more than sitting at my Dell computer that was riddled with viruses from LimeWire in my Catholic school uniform after school. I gasped at the thought, I wonder if Rite Aid has it, entered my mind. Rite Aid was only 3 blocks away, and just the thought that I was 3 blocks away from obtaining skinniness was intoxicating. I had saved up the $2 my mom gave me daily for lunch for 2 weeks, eating a 90-calorie Special K bar to satiate the hunger pains. With the $14 in my pocket, I entered Rite Aid and shocked myself with my resolve. I was torn in between wanting to find the Ipecac syrup and hoping it wasn't available. I found the aisle that was titled Ointments and Medical Aids, and there it was, next to the hydrogen peroxide. Back in 2004, the drug was still available over the counter with no one knowing that its frequent users were those suffering from eating disorders. With a trembling hand, I picked up the small bottle, walked to the counter, and paid. The clerk looked about as interested in my purchase as someone watching paint dry, but I felt somehow like I was seconds away from trouble. I kept looking over my shoulder to make sure no one from my building was around to tell my mother I was in Rite Aid. I didn't feel at ease until I was at home, in my room with the doors locked. The warning on the bottle said, for emergency use only. The intended use for Ipecac syrup is to vomit up anything in the stomach in case a poisonous or life-threatening substance was ingested. For people with eating disorders, eating anything and consuming calories was the emergency. Thank you.
Josely was asking you the name of the syrup. It's Ipecac? What was the name of the medication at the pharmacy?
Oh, it's called Ipecac syrup.
Ipecac. She's speechless over here. Very nice. So what you're seeing, family, those of you who are just joining are the students from the Writing from the Womb winter spring session to 2020. And I will say that it has been an honor and privilege to witness just what they've created, what they've been writing. I mean, writing in itself is a revolutionary act, and these writers are incredibly brave. The vulnerability, the honesty, the truth is really to be commended. So thank you all for kind of joining and celebrating, because I'm so proud of this group of writers for sure. Who's next? Who's next on the list? Because I can't open up my phone. Can someone tell me who's next from their cell? Please and thank you. Yes, Liana killed it.
Somali.
Zoe, you ready, Zoe? Let me see, is Zoe here? Zoe, you're up. You ready, Zoe? Zoe there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Cool. That's all right.
Hello. My name is Somali Guyong. I'm gonna read something that I'm gonna partially read and I'm gonna partially spit a little bit, but we're gonna see how it goes. I'm just gonna have some fun with it. Okay. So I have ADHD. And having ADHD, or rather my brand of ADHD, is constantly cycling through binging and purging. As soon as I get a taste of something I like, something interesting, something cool, something disastrous, something new, something I haven't learned about yet, I binge on it until I get past my fill, soaking up anything and everything even remotely related. And then I purge it all out to anyone or anything who will even pretend to listen. As I got older, I found my endless knowledge about random shit that piqued my interest at one point or another was often incredibly useful, but also incredibly boring if you don't care. And if it's not relevant, most people just don't. So I started journaling. I started painting. I started crafting. I started writing. I started doing spoken word, crocheting, dancing, singing, binge watching TV, binge reading, binge researching, binge meeting people, binge going to bars, binging left and right. all of it in high amounts. Few things to show for it except for my constant rambles about random shit and ongoing projects and information and insights about myself and the world and the people around me. And because my cycle of binging and purging is at the very essence of who I am, insatiable curiosity, as my teacher in the 3rd grade once described it, or perhaps ruminative creativity, as a college professor muttered once in frustration after I abandoned my research for a new topic for the 6th time, this same cycle of binging and purging translates to people and emotions. Now, people are my thing. I love to listen, I love to talk. Everything I'm feeling is always written on my face, whether I like it or not. And when I meet someone who's ready to talk or express themselves in any way, I'm absolutely ecstatic and present and right there with them in their emotions. Binging and purging. It took me a long time to break out of the cycle of toxic binging and purging, soaking up everyone's feelings and experiences and burdens, saturating myself to the point where their emotions were pushing out my own, and hoping that someday someone would wring me out so I could get up and start over again. That someone to wring me out over the sink was usually me and my therapist, and friends and boyfriends and loved ones, of course. But soaking up everyone's shit made me feel so heavy, I usually wallowed in it, totally alone, waiting for it to drip out of me bit by bit, only to start over again. Binging and purging. I suppose you could say I have something of an addictive personality, although the truth is I get much too bored of things much too quickly for it to be a thing. And usually the siren call of information and people and places and things and experiences make it hard for me to care enough about feeling good to ignore everything that there is to understand and learn about. So I binge and I purge. That in itself is my addiction. I suppose you could say this explains a lot of the emotional cycles I run through with my parents. To be honest, they were my first, and I've been addicted to their ups and downs from the moment I came into this world. Mami, papi, they are the OG obsession. Grabbing hold of my body, my soul, my mind, from the very moment I was born, crying out for love, drenched in original sin, they are the beginning and the end, and the last addiction that I have yet to break ties with. Mami, papi, the OG abusive relationship in my life. Binging and purging, over and over and over again. An addicting beginning without a foreseeable end. And it's not just curiosity that keeps me crawling back. Because let's be real here, at least part of what's happening in this revolving door of bullshit is the excitement, the anticipation, the ridiculously high highs, and the unbelievably low lows. And I like excitement. I like feelings in general, but excitement, enthusiasm, and vulnerability are my absolute favorites. Add a little bit of pain and suffering and convince me that somehow I can help, and you've got me, I'm hooked. That's it. A lot of also what's going on here is that I have empathy, much too much sometimes it feels like. Whether it was inherited, probably, taught, sort of, or beat into me, definitely. That's its own discussion. But it's a very real thing that lives inside me, drives me forward, pushes my curiosity and openness to unbelievable measures, hand in hand with my vulnerability and curiosity. It is at the core of who I am, and to this day, it is what defines me. It is the essence of me, refined by knowledge and experience, propped up by imagination and creativity, and pushed forward by very sincere and genuine love for everything and everyone. So I binge. Because I love so goddamn much, and I want to feel, and I want to see, and I want to learn, and I want to help, and I want to support, and I want to share it with everyone in the world. And that compulsion, it continues to open me to the world, to people, to places, to things, and of course, to my parents, allowing them to reach in, scoop me out, and fill me with their bullshit. So until I'm forced to sit alone in the dark, waiting for it to drain out of me, waiting for the strength to build myself up again. I binge, I close, I binge, I purge. I go back into the dark, I purge, I close, I binge on healing, on knowledge, self-love, and when I'm needed, I allow myself to be opened back up in the childlike hopes that this time I will be enough, only to have them empty me again, fill me with their shit, and leave me to stew in it. Starting the process all over again, binging and purging over and over again, opening and closing again and again and again. That's how I ended up with so many terrible relationships in my life. This is what was taught to be my purpose, and it's all I've done my whole life. Giving my love, taking their shit over and over and over again. That's it. I don't know what's happening, but I like this.
Those are claps.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Those are claps.
I like it. Thank you.
Snap. Well done, well done. Rafael, come on, unmute, come share.
Aquí. Oye, you hear me? ¿Quieres que lea ahora o voy después? Ahora. Ay, Dios mío, déjame buscarlo aquí.
Pero tú me escribiste que tú estabas listo.
Ya estoy, mira, aquí está.
Ok.
Ok. Estoy escondido. El ruido de las ambulancias es continuo. Cada vez son más. Tengo miedo. Nueva York es el epicentro de esta epidemia y yo estoy aquí. Quisiera viajar en Yora a Puerto Rico, salir de madrugada con una muda de ropa y lo que me queda de ánimo. Levantarme al mar, lanzarme al mar en una balsa improvisada. Eso quiero. Quiero escapar antes de que esto se derrumbe. Tomo vino para no pensar. Quiero emborracharme y amanecer mañana en el malecón de La Habana con una bucanera en la mano. Que me levanten con una rumba y un tabaco. Visitaré todos los altares y haré todos los rituales que me pidan. Con melones, velas, cascarillas, cigarro y ron. Me pasaré un coco por todas las partes y lo tiraré al mar. Pediré por todo. Estoy perdiendo la cordura. Ya pronto estaré hablando con el viento y empujando un carrito de compras invisible. That's it.
Thank you. Esto que te pusieron, que you need your own podcast show, you need your own reality TV show.
Ok. Denme los cuartos.
Next up we have Jocelyn.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jocelyn Perez. I want to start by saying thank you to Alicia for allowing us to do this. I'm happy to say this is my second time reading my work, and it has only been because of the inspiration I get from her and my fellow writers. So thank you. These are items I wrote at the beginning of our workshop weeks ago, and where I got my truth on how I want to write and what I want to write. The truth is that I wanted people to be there for me. The truth is that I wanted people to understand my pain without telling me how to have sex, what to eat, how to stand, what pills I have to take. The truth is that I wish I had the hands of my female family members instead of feeling that I had to hide because I didn't want to be weak or for them to feel sorry for me. I just wanted their strength instead. The truth is that if they knew what I went through, they would see how strong I am now. The truth is that when they would say, you should drink this botella, that I just drank it so that they can stop asking me to. That it hurt, that I was worried, because I knew they were doing this from a good place. But we weren't ever taught as Dominican families that maybe it hurt to hear how unaccomplished you are. The truth is that I wasn't okay, that what I went through made me weak. The truth is that I'm not as strong as I show. The truth is that I'm not that accomplished. The truth is that I'm scared. I don't have it all together. The truth is that those that went ahead and made fun of my husband's infertility and made a joke, they didn't stop for a minute and think about his feelings, to think about how he felt and how his machismo, his way of being brought up, the amazing person he is, the sweet, funny, kind person he is, laughed at the jokes with them, when I know all he wanted to do was scream and tell them, shut up, you don't know the half of it. The truth is that infertility is an emotional problem, and they see it as something like I'm doing something wrong, or my husband. The truth is that I wish people would have stopped for one moment and how their questions about when you're having that baby, you're not getting younger, made me mad, wanted to say, it is none of your business. We're trying. The truth is, they didn't know. They didn't know how I was getting injections. They didn't know I was taking pills. They didn't know I was visiting doctors every morning. They didn't know I was being checked down there every morning with a protein stick. How each day I had to get some count of eggs. How each day I had to accomplish something, not realizing I had no control. They didn't know that I had mood swings. They didn't know there were days I didn't want to get up. They didn't know that some days all me and my husband could think about was getting that call about being pregnant. The truth is, my heart ached. They didn't know my husband would not understand. They didn't know that even then he would hold me tight as I cried. The truth is that I lost the baby. I lost it. And many may think it was not that big of a deal because I only knew about it for 4 hours and then it would be out of me. That it never had a heartbeat. But for 4 hours, it was the most amazing information I had ever had. How I sat there and held my husband and my son together in the bed and cried as I lost it. How I drove when I found out that I would never have another baby. And if I did, it would be a miracle. How I drove myself with tears in my eyes, feeling helpless. It was that day again, the day that it should be here. Every month I would sit in my one-bedroom apartment bathroom when it was close to that date, close to that time, and dreading cleaning myself after peeing, dreading the pain, dreading the cramps, dreading the migraine because I knew it was the sign that it was coming. It was like a wave of fear and then pain, then anger, then loss, then suddenly defeat. That it was another proof, another way of it telling me that I have failed as a woman. Growing up, the message around me was to become a mother. It meant being able to have children. When I had my first son, I felt accomplished, but it didn't help months later when I tried to have another one. Years would pass after going through IVF and other procedures where I would sit in the bathroom and cry. Cry because I hated my body. I hated that I was damaged. I wanted to scream. It was out of my control. It hurt to look at myself in the mirror. I gained some weight because of the medicines I was taking and it didn't help. Every time after each IVF procedure had failed and my period came, I felt dirty. I felt misused. The woman's body is to procreate and I couldn't. It was my fault. The fact that it was my problem. My eggs were getting old, so the doctor said. It was me. I was damaged. My body was nothing. It was ugly. It did not function. But today I smile. Today I'm strong. Today I feel like a superwoman. I survived. I survived all of that, and it is not my fault. I believe, I have faith, I am strong, I survived. Thank you.
Yes, Jocelyn. So brave, so honest, so vulnerable. Just to share with you all who are like who are bearing witness to what is magical about this group of writers. Um, as their writing midwife, it has been such an honor to just see them come from like week one to really in on their voices and really trusting where their story is headed and what they're meant to write about, and really seeing the strength in the vulnerability and the honesty. And it has been an honor. You know, I don't take it lightly that they have trusted me with with their words, with their babies, right? Because this writing, the work that they're creating, they're giving birth to these things. And it's really hard to find a space where you feel seen, where you feel validated. And so, you know, spaces like the Dominican Writers Association and New York City Latino Writers Group and all of the space that I like to hold are real, you know, we need that more. If we ever need community, it's moments like this. And so, yeah, that's just a taste of the things that are coming out of this group of people. Who's next? Who's next? Next. I'm looking for the list. We have Wanda. You ready, Wanda? Let's bring it.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm never ready, ever. But like Jocelyn, this is my second reading in the same weekend. So thanks, Alicia, and to our Writing from the Womb family. You guys inspire me every day to just put that pen to paper and get it done. I have two poems. One I had put in our discussion, but I've never shared it in reading, so I will. And the other one is just one that I wrote, remembering dark times after 9/11. I used to work in the Trade Center, so I lost a lot of friends. And so, yeah, so here it goes. This first one is about the craft of writing. I titled it, I think, something like Her Pensive Pen. So, the words, sometimes they drip and they drizzle inconsistently on the page, a phrase, a sentence, some doodling, and then she walks away and seems to forget. Other times, the words are like a mighty mouth, erratic, mindless, and endless. No punctuation, just nonstop scribbling, like something is chasing her. On Tuesday, she was both hasty and hesitant. Her words were like a game of peekaboo. She wrote and erased, on again, off again, repeat. The paper could barely hold up, and my eraser was spent. She revised using different words, same message. She was playing it safe, restraining herself. She was afraid. On Thursday, she was fidgety. There was a constant rhythmic tapping under the desk. The notebook was jumpy, the words barely legible. Only she and I knew what they were. Her maniacal mind was playing tricks on her. I know, we have been over this many times. Her phrases were choppy. She was deciding how to unload her burden. That night, her fingers gripped tight through some powerful revelations. My tip kept breaking. Experience tells me she did not want anyone to know her darkest parts. On the page, she expressed both her wounded and her wild, but she was still trying to disguise them. I wish she would loosen her grasp to let it flow, that her truth is beautiful. This morning, big blotches of tears splattered on the page. I wondered if she had heard me thinking. She was dismantling her secrets, maybe her memories, possibly her dreams. The ink was runny, but her words were free and raw and deep. She was finally bearing her soul, and it was miraculous to participate, in honor, actually. She is now breathing steady. Her writing is smooth, her hands relaxed. Her scar is encouraged by the freedom of surrender. She is caressing my body, continuously involving me in the birth of her expression. That's one. The other one is short. This one is, I titled it Remnants of 9/11. Blank spaces occupy my being. Gray smoke has crept into every crevice. Gases smother my spirit, and I crave to sense its presence. Deep in this barren temple, there breeds an infestation, desperately seeking a cure to mend my soul that's broken. Covered by ash and soot, dreaming of falling bodies, I bolt up scarred and breathless as I relive each fatality. I can see Rachel crying and hear Terry's screams. Not sure how much longer can I endure this dis-ease. Haunted since that Tuesday, losing my friends left me vacant. Life has lost all flavor. I contemplate my obliteration. 3,000 angels incinerated. They were your creation. Cannot comprehend such evil. How could you have let this happen? That's all. Thank you.
Ready? You ready?
I'm ready. I was just multitasking because my family couldn't get in, so I have them on Messenger, Facebook Messenger.
Oh, can they see you? Are they still logging in? 'Cause
They can see me.
they can see you. All right, let's go. Come on, familia, welcome.
My name is, mi nombre es Freddy Vázquez Rodríguez. One of the passions that I have, una de las pasiones que yo más tengo es escribir poesía. Y he estado escribiendo poesía por más de 30 años, pero nunca he tenido la oportunidad de publicar y leer mi poesía como lo estoy haciendo en este momento. Y esta poesía quiero dedicársela a mi madre. I'm sorry, guys. It says, Madre mía, con todos mis 5 sentidos te digo que no hay nada más valioso, poderoso y significativo que el amor verdadero e infinito de una madre. Madre mía, eres y siempre será una madre muy especial, lo cual ama a sus hijos y su familia incondicionalmente. Madre mía, yo sé que te duele no poder tener a todos tus hijos en tu presencia en este momento, pero quiero que sepas que aún siendo así, tus hijos han podido tener la fortaleza de poder sobrellevar el dolor de nuestra distancia, porque a través de tus enseñanzas nos ha podido dar la fuerza de seguir luchando contra todo tormento que se nos presenta en nuestro camino con mucha valentía. Madre mía, el amor que con tu madre tenía era muy dulce y especial, y a través de esas enseñanzas has podido duplicar ese infinito amor con tus hijos y tu familia. Madre mía, yo estoy muy agradecido del ser y el espíritu de amor que llevo por dentro, y tengo por entendido que este amor creció en mí y en tus hijos por el amor que siempre sentimos de ti. Y es por eso, por lo que en este momento digo que eres siempre y siempre serás la guía de nuestras vidas. Madre mía, no sé cómo sería mi vida y la vida de tus hijos y tu familia sin estar a tu lado, haciendo camino para nosotros poder transitar con los golpes que nos da la vida. Madre mía, en tu pecho me acosté como niño y como adulto entre tus brazos me he encontrado en nuestros momentos más dolorosos, pero aún más importante en momentos de alegría. Madre mía, siempre serás la estrella de mi noche y el sol de mi día. Madre mía, con mucho amor infinito, quiero que sepas que eres el sendero de mi alma y el de mi espíritu.
Beautiful, Freddie. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Catherine, you're on here, and Catherine, are you all reading? I just want to know. Hearing you? Hang on.
I'm sorry, we're having a moment here.
Yes. I see, I'm muting you. You know you're Latino when. Catherine, are you going to read? Would you like to share something? Yes? Yeah. Oh, Liana is saying yes. Yes, Catherine is sharing. Unmute, my love.
All right, here we go. I wasn't ready for this, but okay. My name is Catherine. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, everyone, for holding the space for us. And I'm going to start with this one. I named it Great Pups. Can you guys hear me? Because I feel like it's lagging a little bit. Oh, okay.
Say the title again.
This one's 3. Yeah, I keep hearing myself. Hold on. All right, can you guys hear me? Yeah, okay. All right, here we go. School was my safe place. My friends were there. The teachers that inspired me were there. And I was considered a cool nerd. You know, got straight A's, but I also rolled up my knee-length uniform skirt as soon as the Catholic school nuns weren't looking. And I snuck boys into the house when mommy wasn't home. Always smiling, always joking around, always up to date with the new reggaeton moves. The living room had 3 walls full of mirrors from top to bottom. It was there where I spent most of my time dancing, doing my version of yoga, doing jumping jacks, push-ups and sit-ups, so I could look good in my low-rise baby fat jeans with the matching sneakers. I smelled the Victoria's Secret love spell. Let's not forget the name bamboo hoop earrings and the bracelet to match the sideways name belt. Apparently, this was the era when everyone needed a reminder of how to spell their name. That was me during the day. At night, the world stopped. It was then when I couldn't escape my own thoughts and feelings. It was then when I felt completely alone and unwanted, even though I was surrounded by so many people. Growing up, mommy always found and read every journal I tried to keep. Since I kept running out of hiding spots in my room, I eventually developed my own alphabet with symbols. She couldn't understand anything I wrote, but writing a single paragraph took way too long. I then bought a journal with a lock on it, and since those are always easy to pick, I got my own lock from the 99-cent store across the street. One afternoon, I came home, and she'd cut out the part that holds the lock from the hardcover. That was the last time I wrote in a journal. Dear Cutie for You to Envy was the AOL screen name. The motto was, I'm Dominican and I'm cute, therefore you should envy me. The clunky Dell computer in the living room is the only thing that belonged to me that mommy wouldn't touch, since she didn't know how to use it. When Papi would pick me up on Saturdays, he would always say, ten cuidado, hay muchos niños que conocen gente por el internet y los roban y los violan. I had a few issues with this statement. First off, Papi, I'm 16, I'm not a niña anymore. Second, I don't talk to strangers. Third, are those the only things that could go wrong? I kept those things to myself. A long Microsoft Word document is where I kept my journal. My computer not only allowed me to have a voice, but also allowed me to access all the information I couldn't get from the public library. I said I was working on a long project. I wasn't. I got home late, and finally, mommy went to sleep. I had already read KK a bedtime story and tucked her into bed. I love you, chicken. Don't let the bed bugs bite, I said, as she laughed. I walked back to the computer, sat down, and went to AskJeeves.com. I filled the search box with, what's the easiest way to kill yourself? I wanted to go quick and silently. Different forums popped up in the search, and some people provided detailed instructions on which pills to take and on what schedule. I also ran into how to successfully hang yourself. I thought to myself, that wouldn't work, since I'd get caught before I was done setting everything up. Should I leave a note? Nah, for what? No one had listened to me this whole time, not even the school counselors. They all kept telling me I'm just a bad daughter. Mommy doesn't love me, and I know she'd never wanted me. Bobby always tells me everything is going to be fine, but he doesn't do anything about it, so everyone else will just get used to being without me. I knew Bobby would be mad at me because he told me the Bible says suicide is a sin. But what I didn't understand is, why did God give me this mom? Why did she hurt me every single chance she got? Even if I ended up in hell for committing the sin of suicide, it might be better than the pain of feeling unwanted and unloved. It wasn't the first time I asked Jeeves to help me solve my pain, but it was the first time I decided to just give myself the answer. All you need is a sharp knife, I told myself. I walked to mommy's room to make sure she was sleeping. I heard her snoring. Walked to the kitchen, pulled out the big knife mommy would use to cut up the whole chicken. The knife was old. There was a piece missing from the handle, and you could see it was starting to rust. Slowly, I slid it diagonally on the edge of my left wrist. I thought it would hurt, but it actually felt good. It felt better than whatever I was feeling. The first cut was bleeding, but not too much since I hadn't cut too deep. I did it once more, this time a little deeper. I wanted to get familiar with the knife. I wanted to keep slicing until I felt no more pain. The third one was a little deeper. Tears ran down my face as a million thoughts raced through my mind, but only one had taken over. This is the end. You don't have to suffer any longer. The blood dripping down on the beige marble countertop was carrying my pain with it. I felt it slowly leaving my body. I hadn't cut any veins yet, so I knew I had more work to do, but it already felt so good. As I took a deep breath before proceeding, I heard something. It was KK whispering my name so mommy wouldn't hear it. Kathy, are you getting snacks? Wait for me. I heard her say in her little 6-year-old voice. Oreos, crackers with queso de papa, and Frosted Flakes were our go-to nighttime snacks when mommy was sleeping. My body started shaking. I threw the knife on the sink, ran the water over it, reached for paper towels. One I used to wipe the blood off the counter, the other to wrap my wrist. She couldn't see this. I couldn't do this to her. I whispered, "Stay in the room, I'm coming." Holding the paper towel around my wrist, I tiptoed past mommy's room and walked into our room. I looked at the bed. "Chicken," I whispered. KK was completely asleep. And that was it. Sorry guys, I got mad emotional. My voice right now.
Well done. Well done. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Such a powerful, vulnerable, heart-wrenching piece. Thank you for giving voice to that story. I think one of the things about being a person of color, those of us in the Latinx community, hay cosas que no se hablan. De eso no se habla. The secrets are kept in secret. The pain is kept in secret. You know, we don't talk about miscarriage. We don't talk about eating disorders. We don't talk about suicidal thoughts and stuff. Shh, no se lo cuenta a nadie. No se lo diga a nadie. You know, but the thing is that if we don't tell these stories, if we don't speak up, if we don't share, if we don't try to heal the intergenerational trauma, the silence is what will kill us. Right? And so I'm really grateful that these writers during this time are writing the stories that they're writing, because many of the stories that we're writing aren't necessarily happy experiences. You know, they're looking at some very hard, very powerful themes, right? People throw in some of the themes we're writing about collectively in the chat so that our community can kind of see what we're writing about, thinking about, and sharing, you know, over the past 8 weeks, 9 weeks. So well done. Thank you for sharing that. Tawan, are you ready? Come on.
I'm ready.
Let's go.
All right. This is called Like Shit. My ancestors have been waiting for me to write this book. I have to treat it like my altar. Place it on a table covered with white cloth. Light candles so it can find its way to me, and so that I can see it clearly. Play music for it. Sit and pray with it. Speak to it. Cry in front of it. Tell it all of my hopes and dreams. Give thanks and praise to it. Place a glass of water next to it. Place a glass of rum next to it. Offer it sweet things. Offer it bundled sage and 3 kings. Anoint my head with holy water before it. Place shells that I gathered from the ocean in front of it. It receives me completely, as I am, without judgment. And so I give it my shame. I give it my heartache. I give it my anger. I give it my depression. I give it all of the things that don't serve me. I give these things over to this book every morning when I wake up and before I go to sleep. I know this book knows what to do with my fears and anxiety. This book knows what to do when my chest feels heavy, when my chest feels so heavy that I struggle to breathe. I'm not writing this book. I know it has to be written. I have the skills to write it. I'm just refusing to write it. I don't want to tell the story. I don't want to feel the anger, depression, pain, and sadness of this story, but it has to be written. I'm not writing this book. The telling of it makes me physically ill. I wonder if it will go away in time. It's that feeling you get when you are about to have diarrhea. The first time I sat down to write this story, I had to fight through the feeling. I had to fight through feelings of nausea. I told myself it was all in my head. Eventually the feeling went away. I need strength for this. I need grounding for this. I need discipline and time. I need to write as if my life depended on it. And the truth is, it does. My life depends on the writing and completion of this book. By writing this book, I show up for myself. I show up for the parts of me that no one ever showed up for. I show up for the parts of myself that no one dared or tried to understand. Every day I write a word, a sentence, a paragraph for this book, even if it's contained within a text with friends. I am showing up for myself. The act of sitting in front of a glowing screen or a crisp white piece of paper and filling it until your hands cramp is a courageous act. Stealing away to write in the middle of the day when you should be working at that job that pays the bills is a courageous act. I'm sorry, my screen is messed up, sorry. Waking up 5 a.m. or 3 a.m., not because you enjoy it, but because there is peace in the house, enough peace for you to write without someone walking up to you and starting a conversation, as if they don't see your hands typing furiously at a keyboard, as if they don't see you deep in thought, trying to capture every word because your pen can't move fast enough. These are all courageous acts. I have decided to show up for myself every day in little ways. The little ways lead to big ways, lead to leaps and bounds, lead to a tsunami of little courageous acts that find me standing in my absolute truth. I don't have to like it. I don't have to like standing in my truth, but I have to do it. There will be times when I absolutely despise it, and that's okay. Who said? Who the fuck said I have to like standing in my truth? Who said I have to smile while standing in my truth? Who said I couldn't weep while standing in my truth? Who said I had to stand tall, shoulders erect while standing in my truth? Who said I couldn't slouch in my truth? Who said I couldn't curl up in the fetal position in complete darkness in my truth? Who said I couldn't wail in my truth? Who the fuck said? Who said I couldn't be angry and fucking batshit crazy in my motherfucking truth? It's my truth. I'm in it. And sometimes it stinks. Sometimes my truth is like explosive diarrhea. Sometimes my truth is like that shit you're afraid will come out of your ass if you bend over too much. Sometimes my truth is like that shit you pray won't slip out of your ass before it's supposed to. So you squeeze that sphincter muscle to your rectum just a little tighter. You squeeze and try to make it to the bathroom waddling like a penguin, praying you don't shit your pants before you get there. You squeeze and pray you'll be able to unbutton your pants before it flows uncontrollably out of your ass. You squeeze and you squeeze and you squeeze until you can't squeeze anymore, until you find relief in the fact that you made it over the toilet bowl. It can't wait for you to sit down. It's already coming out, pouring out of you forcefully. You couldn't hold it any longer if you tried. That is what my truth is like. Thank you.
I'm screaming over here, okay? Come on, let's go. On all the shit, we ain't taking no more. We not. Right, baby? No. Right? She's giving you standing ovations, T. Baby E saying, yes, preach. Exactly, Mama. She did. Beautiful. Jasmine, my love, are you reading today? Are you reading an excerpt of your work in progress? Are you gracing us, blessing us? Oh, go ahead, baby E. Baby, you got lots to say right now. You're getting a lot of love on the Insta story. Go ahead. Jasmine, you gonna read something? You need a minute? No, you're just gonna chill. Okay. How you feeling? In the meantime, Vero, you ready? Let's go.
Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, hi everybody. Soy Vero. Oh wait, Alicia, can you mute yourself? Thanks. Okay, so I didn't start this class knowing what I was going to write about, and definitely ended up writing what I need to write about. So I'm first going to read the synopsis and then a quick scene. So, synopsis. Laura is the daughter of two Dominican parents who immigrated to the US in the 90s. She has two older brothers, her idols. On the outside, Laura has her shit together. She went to an Ivy League school, works at a major tech company, and is often described as lively and approachable. On the inside, she battles with her desire mixed with guilt that many first generation grapple with, the desire for upward mobility so she can give back to her family. Her greatest fear is that her parents will grow old without reaping the benefits of their sacrifices. The plan was simple as a first generation child: gain success, give back to the family. What happens when Laura's older brothers veer off the plan? At age 16, she gradually starts losing her brothers, her best friends, to drugs and alcohol. Unconnected, they both develop addictions, one to opioids and one to alcoholism. Laura, the baby of the family, is forced to carry the weight of the family emotionally and economically. Will her parents ever get to live their lives, or will their family be stuck, dealing with the aftermath of how mental illness and the opioid crisis have been dealt with globally? Important themes in the story are family, immigration, addiction, shame, and healing. The story. Time was exacerbating her pain. Her parents were only getting older. She could see it every time she came home from college during break. Her mom's wrinkles were showing, her dad started to look smaller, and her brothers were selfish. Her greatest fear? That her parents would die never getting to see Europe, never getting to go to Boston or DC, never getting to see the world. That her parents would die and would have spent the better part of their years taking care of her brothers, that she couldn't do anything about it. She used to think her brothers were leeches, species who latched onto their host and sucked away all their host nutrients. They were taking everything from her parents, she thought. When would they be free? Her fear of her parents dying, never free of this burden, was not appeased by Al-Anon, a group for families and friends of alcoholics. Laura never went to the same Al-Anon meeting. During one meeting, she sat around a group of strangers in Connecticut, in a Connecticut church on a Friday evening. She went with her dad after her mom had caught Jaciel drinking in his bedroom, breaking 8 months of sobriety. In the room were mainly women over 60. On the tables were pamphlets and sand hourglass timers, so each attendee wouldn't speak for longer than the allotted time, 3 minutes. Most attendees went over, however, pouring out their misery, holding the timer tightly as if it would save them, seeming visibly disappointed when they realized the hourglass had to move to the next person. When it was her dad's turn to speak, Laura didn't think he would. For years, he described himself as shy. She didn't think he would open up at this opportunity to speak at about her family's business in front of strangers. He took the hourglass in his hands and he began speaking, his words simple with an accent as he spoke in his second tongue. Hi, I'm Freddie. Hi, Freddie. In my house, there's 5 of us, my wife, my daughter, and my 2 sons. Both of them have addictions. The women nodded. When our daughter would come home, she would say things like, why are things like this? And it wasn't until she pointed out that we realized there are problems in our house. This topic on enabling is a good one. I had never heard that one before, because we are never sure we are enabling. It's hard to know the difference between depression, mental illness, and addiction. There was something about hearing her dad describe in English to a group of strangers that caused tears to fall down her face. The women sharing depressed Laura. They said things like, I don't know how much longer I'll be here, or my son who is 50 years old. 50 years old? I don't know how much longer I'll be here? After decades of dealing with their sons, these women sat around each other begging to no one in particular for their sons to one day change. This terrified her. After the meeting, on the way out, the leader of the group turned to Laura and asked her, did you get a pamphlet? Make sure to come back every week. Laura didn't have the heart to tell her that she most likely would never come back. It was a Friday night, and she wouldn't let her brother steal away her Friday nights too, steal her youth. What Al-Anon wasn't was a place where people tell attendees what to do, which is what Laura sometimes ached for. Please, tell us what to do with them. Tell us how to get them jobs. Tell us what to do when Dastiel becomes aggressive and Anthony is trying to get clean again. Tell us what to do because I want clarity. Basically, how do we make sure we don't end up like you? But no one can answer that question. Once the hourglass is passed to the next person and Al-Anon is over, you are alone to deal with the consequences of your life situation. Thank you.
Listen, writing about family, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, is never easy because we're airing certain truths, right? We're airing, like if it's more airing our personal business at the risk of being alienated and offended and disowned by our family, by our people, saying, how dare you write about my permission? And so when you hear stories like this, you know, you wonder, like, what does it take to actually get to the end, to actually get these stories to actually finish? It really takes courage. It's courage and a lot of heart to sit with these stories and then hope that a publishing house will see the value and worth in the words that we're creating. You know, we're lucky writers to have saying, you know, if they don't want to fucking publish you, I'll publish you. And so until then, let's just keep writing. Let's just keep writing these hard stories that are beautiful and introduce the characters, the idea, have the specific stories that we're writing. Is from the womb and about reading this?
You sound robotic.
Now, because what's that?
You sound robotic.
I'm sorry if it's not sounding clear. Lisa, come on, Lisa.
Hello, everyone. Let me see here. 1 second. Oh, hello? Can you hear me? So my name is Lisa Gilventura. I am a student from Writing from the Womb. I did want to share some stuff from Writing from the Womb, but you guys caught me on a day that's kind of emotional and special for me, and I've been saying this all weekend. And also, so today's my brother's birthday, who passed away 16 years ago, but it's also my husband's birthday. And I am here today, and I am completely neglecting him. So what he asks is just that maybe I give him a birthday poem. So I'll read 2 poems, one that's dedicated to my brother and one that's dedicated to my husband. So I'll start with, oh, and for anyone that doesn't speak Spanish, I am so sorry. So T, my apologies to you. Hoy decidí no llorar. Si sé que a mi lado siempre vas a estar. Decidí no llorar porque tu alma en mi corazón siempre vivirá. Hoy decidí no llorar porque sé que tu memoria de mi mente nunca se va a borrar. De mi lado sé que no te irás. Siento tu presencia, tu calor, tu amor. Es una experiencia fenomenal. Ya se me fue el temor, no siento rencor si fuiste tú que la fe me enseñaste a encontrar. De ti aprendí sobre el destino, sea feo o sea bonito. Así nuestro Dios lo quiso. Hoy decidí no llorar, de tu partida aprendí a amar, todos mis sueños lograr, ningún momento olvidar, expresar por si acaso mi mañana decide nunca llegar. Decidí no llorar porque sé que las lágrimas al aire se irán. No voy a llorar porque en mi vientre te vas a reencarnar el día que decidas ser mamá. Me has puesto en un pedestal, mis deseos todos me lo has convertido en realidad. Al principio no entendí, el corazón pensó que no lo iba a aguantar. Qué dolor, sentí ahogo en el mar. La escuela decidí dejar, no quise vivir, lo único que hice fue llorar, en ti pensar y preguntar, Dios, ¿qué hice mal? Hoy decidí no volver a llorar. Dios me curó la pena, la infelicidad. Me dijo que todo bien iba a estar. Me prometió que en el cielo nos íbamos a encontrar. Tu partida voy a recordar, pero prometo que no voy a llorar. Tu vida hoy voy a celebrar. Por fin comprendo que hay que gozar, que hay que experimentar y nada lamentar. Será muy tarde cuando el alma de mi cuerpo se decida desmontar y por eso el mundo quiero explorar. Hoy soy feliz, hoy decidí no llorar. Te quiero mucho, es más, te amo, mi ángel guardián. Whew. That was that. And then I have the one for my husband. Poco tiempo is called. Tan poco el tiempo. En la pista bailamos a nuestro propio tempo. Al darme su mano, mi corazón tembló. Ojos color miel, qué química entre yo y él. Qué suave, qué intoxicante el calor de su piel. Con un gran deseo me dejó él. Me encantaría volverlo a ver. Su aroma, volver a oler. Qué linda su sonrisa, qué feo tener que irse con tanta prisa. Una vuelta en su motocicleta, bajo la luna, bajo una estrella. La noche fue tan bella. Labios seductores, una lengua bastante lisa. El escalofrío avisa que a mi cama quiere darle una visita. Bienvenido, le prometo que se irá bienvenido. Un poco herido, destruido, en su oído oirá mi ruido. He concluido que a mi patio yo lo invito. The end. Thank you.
Lisa, can you do me a solid? Can I have you read the one for your hubby one more time? Because I was recording on my IG and it cuts off after an hour. So let me get that one for the people, for the culture who's over. Espérate. Yeah, I'm over here with the live here and the thing here.
Well,
and the thing
that's good because that way I can show it to him since I'm not recording it.
Get one more time for the people.
It's called Poco Tiempo. Tan poco el tiempo. En la pista bailamos a nuestro propio tempo. Al darme su mano, mi corazón tembló. Ojos color miel, qué química entre yo y él. Qué suave, qué intoxicante el calor de su piel. Con un gran deseo me dejó él. Me encantaría volverlo a ver. Su aroma, volver a oler. Qué linda su sonrisa, qué feo tener que irse con tanta prisa. Una vuelta en su motocicleta, bajo la luna, bajo una estrella. La noche fue tan bella. Labios seductores, una lengua bastante lisa. El escalofrío avisa que a mi cama quiere darle una visita. Bienvenido, le prometo que se irá bienvenido. Un poco herido, destruido. En su oído oirá mi ruido. He concluido que a mi patio yo lo invito. ¡Tan!
Prissy has on an Insta story saying, Coño, we're going to have a Corona baby shower with that poem. Beautiful, thank you.
Well, that was 11 years ago, and there's been 2 baby showers after that, so we're good.
Okay, she good, Pri, she good. Who is there anyone else that wants to share from writing?
I have a short story if nobody wants to share.
Hang on one second, Freddie, because I have some folks also who are visiting. Those of you who are like here for the open mic, is Edgar gonna read? No, right? Did Edgar say he wanted to go?
Oh,
okay, great. Edgar, come on. Go, Edgar.
All right. So my story still needs a lot of work, but this I have two separate poems that kind of coincide when my mind is in turmoil and everything, and I finally calm down. These are the words that follow. So it's kind of like me talking in the mirror to myself. I don't like to feed facts. I rather breed intuition, because what can't be touched when you can only listen is the only proof of post-puff of smoke in your mental condition. Just a whiff of mist that missed all recognition. Then later you dig in as a starving artist on a mission. Head up, shoulder scuffed, toes and knees, toes, limbs missing. Connection to trees' roots, seeds fueled on aloof. Realize when the weight of truth knocks you on your caboose. Last train going home, I hope you don't miss the move. Meant to give you on the right track, it looks like a choose between what to do for who, how, why you, where's the proof? That's it. There's nothing more on the plate. Batter up. What's to lose? A game or two. A game or two. Keep going. Greats learn. The legs swoop. Drop the tower from the base group to play smart for the gold fruit. Bite into, bark and go and get your spot. Search, then you'll find. I said it was a mission, not an easy switch you've been privy to. I need to teach myself to be with myself, not to beat my wealth with reasons I felt used to justify for health, spirit, and mental. Feel like parents quick to give me back, like here's your rental. Whipped with a belt of get your shit together. Make me not want to speak now, I think forever. Missing a mission proposition after I wished it. Sticking my limits a million ways before I finished. At war with a wall, hostiles and a reflection. Multiple alterations, I made sure to test me. Nomadic by condition, reinventing where I'm living. It wasn't even that bad. I just elevate the system. Pedestal scope practice, though no dough for action. When the pen came stabbing, hollering, make me a habit. Still no funds, while it was fun, went on the stage rapping. Painted in tile or ply. If I'm main focus, I felt magic. That's what I got.
All right. Thank you. Beautiful.
I changed my mind. I want to read.
Oh, Jasmine in the house. Come on, girl. Let's go.
So I want to read something that I already wrote. I'm sure some of you guys already read it, but if you haven't, that's cool too. You guys get to, hear about it now. So it's called Here Kitty Kitty. And here it goes, guys. Okay. So it says, the rope digs into me, rough and prickly, wrist turning a pale shade of red. The rope is starting to leave an imprint. My wrists aren't the only part of me tied to St. Andrew's cross. My waist and ankles are also bound to it. It doesn't look like the typical cross we are used to kneeling in front of while praying to the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. It looks like a huge X. Once tied to it, you are restrained in a spread eagle position. My back is facing the crowd. I am last in a row of crosses stretched out against the wall. To my right, women lay their half-naked bodies on top of what looks like massage tables. Hold on, let me mute this TV. Okay, to my right, women lay their half-naked bodies on top of what look like massage tables, while a male dom performs fire play on their, hold on. I'm sorry, this keeps freezing. While a male dom performs fire play on their figure. Behind me, a group of spanking benches. People sprawled across the leather banks while being lashed with large floggers and heavy wooden paddles. I hear dark wave music through the speakers. Sounds like Dead Can Dance. Goes perfectly with the symphony of Spanx playing along in the background. Each ass becomes an instrument, each body contributing to the music in the room. You should come to a play party with me next weekend, Mistress Kali shrieks. I've never been to one, I thought to myself. Kali is one of my best friends and also a pro-dom. BDSM has always been something I dabbled with in the bedroom. The sadomasochistic change has always fascinated me, laying there submissive while someone tests the limits of your pain. I had a lover once who would cut between my thighs with a knife while he went down on me. He carefully made small incisions in my skin with a pocket knife and sucked the blood while he licked me out. I can still taste the blood on his tongue from when he would come up for kisses. A little extreme, I guess. You should come as Kitty. Kitty, I thought. I had so many questions. What does one do as Kitty at these parties? In the BDSM world, play parties are organized for like-minded people to go ahead and engage in BDSM activities. Certain pieces of equipment are provided, the St. Andrew's cross, for example, and the spanking benches. People usually bring their own floggers, paddles, etc. There's usually a bar, a DJ, and a designated area for changing into your fetish wear. You don't always have to participate at these parties. You can just come to watch. But you are not to put your hands on anyone or anything without their permission. Some are invite only, some aren't. Some allow sex and nudity, others don't. Some are themed like Kitty Night or party strictly for spankos. What would I have to do as Kitty? I'm so fucking intrigued. She explains, as her Kitty, I will play the role of a sexy kitten. I will go dressed as a feline fatale. I would be on a leash and do as I am told. Shit, count me in. I spent the week putting my look together. A black lace jumpsuit, fur down the sides of the legs, perfect for Kitty. I found a sexy pair of black lace ears and a black lace mask that would beautifully highlight my tiger-like eyes. Black heel sandals, one of my long ponytail extensions. The blonde one will go best. The night has finally arrived. We are dressed and it's pouring outside. We cannot get a cab. It is Saturday in NYC after all. 2 minutes, mommy, 2 minutes, yells the dispatcher in his fast Dominican accent. Finally, we run down 5 flights of stairs in our fetish wear. We'll put your ears, mask, and collar on in the change room once we arrive, says Kali. We wait inside the building to stay dry. Once we hear the honk, we run outside. The ride down the FDR is so gorgeous. You have such a great view of the city. I love how the Bronx turns into Manhattan, but on the other side of the river, you can see Queens and then Brooklyn. I always lose myself in that skyline. The cab driver plays Lana Del Rey, dark, moody, and sultry, suitable for getting into my sexy kitty character and Kali into Dom mode. We sing along as we hear the raindrops dancing on the car's silver metal, the windshield wipers rocking back and forth, the sound of the cars leaving their tracks behind on the wet ground. The cab driver pulls up to the front of the random office building downtown. We see party goers out front. We walk into the brightest fucking lobby ever and press the elevator button. The elevator doors open, introducing us to another bunch of party goers. Once inside, we press 11. We walk towards the black steel door and buzz to be let in. I'm immediately met by darkness. Mistress Kali was on the guest list, so we didn't have to pay. She didn't have to pay. She gave her name, and the bald guy with the face tattoos nods. She greets a fellow Dom as we walk into the changing room. The room is illuminated by a soft red light. I see women in sexy nurse outfits, patent leather, and thigh-high boots. Men in harnesses and tiny leather underwear. Looks like you're the only kitty here tonight, says Kali, as she crowns me with my lace ears. She places the mask over my eyes gently and then tightens it. Is that good, kitty? Perfect, I whisper. She puts my collar on last. From this moment forward, you are not to speak to anyone. I felt like I was being initiated into this dark and forbidden lifestyle. The placing of the collar was a symbolic ritual one had to go through in order to become one of them. I hear the leash click against the collar. On your knees, kitty. She walks out, leash in hand, me sexily crawling behind her as we make our way into the seductive world of fetish and kink. That's it. You guys are crazy. You guys are so funny.
I can't hear you, Alicia.
You're on mute.
No, I was saying just was waiting over here, and I said we got a movie in the making. We're all in the front row for opening. Y'all can't hear me.
You sound robotic.
On the. If you are unmuted, mute your phones. Thank you. The last is going to be Priscilla. You ready?
Yeah. Hi everybody. Thank you for holding space for me. I'm going through a lot right now with my sister, and I was going back and forth, but when I hopped on IG Live and I saw my Writing from the Womb family, I got inspired to read and felt that, you know, it's time to just step into the power, right? So the piece that I'm gonna read is called The Prayers of My Grandmother. I started writing it yesterday with the writers group that we do in the morning. So join us on Saturdays at 6 a.m. Follow Alicia and she'll give you the details. My ancestors tell me that I'm ready. I'm ready to take on the generational curse breaking like a Latina Indiana Jones, solving the mysteries of the past to uncover the hidden treasure that is our freedom, a freedom that wasn't afforded to them, so they left the clues in my DNA. You're ready, mija, they say, ready to begin the liberation of our legacy. I've been preparing for this, training really, for the marathon that is this battle. I've been fighting it since the womb, met with challenges and obstacles that would have killed any ordinary person, but for me, were just a test of my Latina girl magic. Like a young baby Yoda, so to speak, I train every day, arming myself with the knowledge and the truth of the things that make me me. I look for clues as to who they were, these women whose blood run through my veins, whose features, mannerisms, speech, and ways of being I carry, yet I've never laid eyes on. Because you see, I don't have to have met them to feel the things within me. I don't have to have spoken to them to know them, because they are part of me. A cellular connection that no matter how hard I tried in the past to run from, I could never shake. They've waited patiently and sometimes not so patiently for me to be ready. Siempre camina con la cabeza hacia arriba, no importa lo que pase, siempre hacia arriba. That was the message that they sent to me through Paquita, my 100-year-old grandmother, her last words to me, the final piece in the ancestral tool belt that I would need to go on this quest. It would be easier to fight off 1,000-year-old mummies, swing from vines in the Amazonian jungles with mosquitoes the size of drones, or even fight an army of evil soldiers with machine guns pointing right at me, with only my cunning to survive. That I can take on easily, and all before my morning coffee is brewed. The battle that I'm undertaking is something different, something that requires me to look deep within, something that I only possess. There's no amount of hocus pocus that I can do to break these curses. You gotta get really down and dirty, dig up the past. Pull off the scab, reopen that wound and go in deep, so deep that when you go to the bone. And when you get there, go deeper, all the way down to the cellular level and begin to cleanse. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You to mute. For some reason, I can't show the camera, but not the computer. I don't know what technology. I can't mute. One, Priscilla, thank you for you.
Ambar is the one that wants to read next.
I just announced that. Ambar, you.
Oh, hi. Can you hear me? Hey, everyone. I want to say thank you to Alicia, to my fellow writers, to everyone in attendance. I am very grateful, especially during these times, I'm very grateful to ground myself in this moment of creative community. I'm going to start with sort of like an intro synopsis and then read a piece from the writing class. That is what I did, make myself invisible, like being visible would somehow cause me to spontaneously combust into a tiny million pieces of myself, pieces that were broken because I felt cracked inside, as if my being were always on the verge of breaking, shattering to create a deconstructed version of itself. No promise of being pieced back together again, like glue or tape attempting to stop the vaporous leak of sorrow, a steam streaming from the continuous flow of tears, salt on the rim of my eyes. Destruction precedes creation. Maybe I was born to exist in deconstructed form. There would be no threat of shatter then, only individual pieces, facets of who I am, existing whole as they are, able to adhere, to juxtapose, to create a human experience uniquely varied and my own. to understand my individual woundedness in order to heal, to become whole, but not whole again, because wholeness is an illusion, but to simply exist as a compilation, a juxtaposition, parts of a whole. And then this is a piece from the writing class called Running Faucet. Her guttural cry was half muffled by the running faucet. I passed by the kitchen as I had done countless times before, the earliest of which consisted of rides past the fridge station in my toddler whip, a pink, white-wheeled, chunky bicycle. But in this moment, time froze in slow motion. My next steps forward suspended in midair, pulled cautiously by the gravity of a weight unseen, yet felt. The low-pitched howl that emanated from within the depths of her belly, one that had bared the lives of 3 women, moved through her vocal cords like a thick gravel of cement, a heaviness that desired to crack, to break into tiny pieces that traveled lighter. The notes of pain she sobbed carried with them the weight of a sadness that orchestrated its melody. Her back hunched forward, toward the sink, her curves hidden by her oversized shirt, her tousled black waves matted to the side of her forehead. Only a sliver of light from the afternoon sun peeked through the shade of the window, as if to offer its warm solace, to remind her that she was not alone in the dark room. In that second, her vulnerability unzipped and unleashed its quiet presence. I saw her for the first time, without the fortress of a veil for emotional concealment. Her fingers gripped a towel she was preparing to trapea with. Why she did not favor a modern-day mop over the primitive makeshift version using a towel and a palo, I could never understand or answer. But here, before she cleaned the floor of impurities and dirt, she rinsed. She rinsed the towel with tears that plunged from her puffy eyes into the endless, unknown depths of the sink drain. Moments before, we had gotten the news that my father was hospitalized after suffering his second heart attack. It was then that I began to learn of my father's fragile heart, the delicate nature of a heart otherwise intent on braving pain with thick skin. Both my parents knew how to protect their fragile hearts, albeit in different ways. My mother, her love as stoic as frozen icicles, would cook with a warm compassion that ignited the gas stove, much to the joy of my endlessly hungry soul. My father, his love stubborn and rugged as a boulder, fixed in place, everlasting with its permanence, unwavering in unsolicited advice dispensed with layers of thick, tough love. From the Bronx, Mama's heartbeat was now pulsating to the rhythm of Dad's bedside heart monitor millas away in Boston, Massachusetts. Years later, I would inform my therapist that I never saw my parents engage in the ever-favored PDA, otherwise known to me as parents don't amar. They never even mastered NPDA, or as I call it, non-public displays of affection. They hugged and kissed briefly at the party they threw to celebrate my official registration to our local Catholic church, my baptism, after bickering about something seemingly trivial like the pastelito order gone wrong, the horror, and picking up my mom's favorite clamato for the cervezas. What a holy night. As merengue blasted from the stereos and the holy water dissipated from my forehead, I watched their embrace from a distance, wishing that time had stopped in slow motion then, that the memory remained inked in permanent marker so that years to come, when they yelled across different rooms to aggressively agree that they had fallen out of love with one another, I would know that their loveless declarations were simply untrue because I had witnessed otherwise. Thank you.
Absolutely lost in that story. Can y'all hear me?
As long as you talk slow, because he's still cutting off.
Okay. Well, that is just so the writing from the room writers, and I am to open mic. And Myra, you'd like to share? Please come on, and please, I do want to open up for Q&A.
Here we go. Okay, I found the unmute button. Thank you for allowing me to read this. Are you hungry? ¿Tienes hambre? That is the question that rolls out of my mouth as my kids come in the door. Before I say good morning, before I say, how are you? I need to know if they are hungry. I can't relax being in their presence until I know if they are hungry or not. If they are hungry, I get an excited feeling in my feet, and I skip after them until I get a response. I declare myself their servant and food wizard and pull out ingredients for the magic potion I commit to create. The stakes are high. All I want are applause, worshiping, and audible moans of delight. It is breakfast. It is lunch. It is dinner. Is it just a snack? My magician's wand doesn't care. I just want to feed my babies. My babies are 15 and a half and 22 and a half. As long as I am their mom. My heart beats pleasure knowing that their hunger can be conquered by my culinary skills. I love to cook. I love to eat. I love to see my kids eat. My love for cooking food comes from a place of nostalgia and perseverance. My Dominican immigrant grandmother lived with my family from the time I was 3 years old. She appointed herself the cook of the house, and my Dominican factory working mother didn't have the energy to fight that whirlwind of an old woman. From that point on, Abuelita Lupe cooked every single meal I ate at home. She never called in sick, and she deliberately shooed away all other people that approached her stove or her sink. My abuelita was filled with a nasty and angry disposition. In all areas of her life, there were stories of angst, betrayal, poverty, abandonment, and jealousy. When she cooked a meal, all of those stories would vanish. She would whistle as she peeled the plátano. She would swiftly move with grace as she reached for a knife. Her movement filled the house with a symphony of sounds, smells, and longing for a quick sample of the rice and beans she just completed. Sofrito sauce boiled, chicken thighs browned, plátanos fried. She was a conductor of a beautiful composition that would fill my heart and my stomach with the music played by her hands. Thank you.
Thank you, Myra. That was so lovely. What a journey. That
Thank you.
Stunning. Thank you. Is there someone else who wants to share from the mic? No one else?
Can I share something short?
No.
Something?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking for all of us. Never mind.
No. Those who are her guests, I'm opening it up to you. But other than that, I'm opening up for a Q&A. So if you want to ask any writers any questions about their experience, about their writing, you can go ahead and unmute and ask away. We're open for a real short community conversation and check-in. Those of you who are guests, please. Anyone on the IG Live, if you have any questions you want me to ask any of the writers, I'd be happy to. Or any pieces that you really loved or felt like really inspired. And ask when a book being published for all of them. Word. When are the books coming out? That was the question. Exactly. Said November 1st, 2020. Well, family, if no one has any questions, the writers, I am going to close our reading. But I asked my Writing from the Womb students to stay on call just for a few minutes at the end Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you so much for supporting these amazing writers. To the Writing from the Womb writers who are present and those who are home and those who we're just holding space from, present and past students from Writing from the Womb, we're sending you mad love. We hope you feel inspired. We hope you know that you are loved, that you are lifted, that your story matters. We are rooting for you, and that this performance, this reading was for you and for all of those who needed some joy today in this like 100 millionth gazillionth day of quarantine. I am sending you so much love. And yes, some of the students mentioned that, Priscilla mentioned that I have some community writing sessions that I do. We write from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. every day with Write the Fucking Story. We write on Saturdays, Creating Within the Chaos. That's 9 to 11 every Saturday until, and on Sunday, Dominican Writers Association has a writer's salon. And I will be doing a Writers from the Room Advanced, a master's class starting in June. And so more information about that will come out soon. Thank you everyone on the IG. Thank you family for supporting everyone. I did record this, so it will be available. I will upload it onto the YouTube today so you all can share it with your loved ones. You matter, your story matters, and I'm sending you mad love. Thank you for being here. You all can sign out. Writing from the Womb, stay online, please. Bye,
Maida,
IG.
keep writing, Maida. That was beautiful.
+1, I'm hungry now.
I got my mommy cooking right now. Thank you, Maida. You gave me the whole menu.
I'm gonna go buy some tostones to whistle while I peel my plátanos. Thank you.
Come to my house and cook for me.
I made some and baked chicken.
All right, fam, let me stop the recording.